Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our digital live. My name is Jenna Steele. I'm a field manager here at Digital Summer Clinic, and I'm joined by Nora Holman, who's another field manager here. And we are super excited to be speaking with Allie Beecher, an intern at AdAdapted.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, Allie, and thank you for everyone tuning in. We're really looking forward to this conversation. And for those watching, feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. We'll get to those later in our Q&A. To kick things off, Allie, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit more about your experience?
For sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I am a junior at the Eastern Michigan University Honors College, and I am double majoring in public relations and business. This summer, I'm working as a digital marketing intern with AdAdapted. Now, AdAdapted is a mobile ad platform for CPG brands and agencies. You probably haven't heard of CPG before, but it stands for Consumer Packaged Goods, and it includes groceries, cleaning products, and beauty products, things that we buy every day. What AdAdapted does is we partner with pre-shop planning apps that people use to make lists, whether that's a grocery list or just a shopping list, anything like that. We get data from those apps, and then we can use that data to create relevant ads for our consumers. We work with many different CPG brands and retailers, including some we've probably heard of, like Kraft, Coca-Cola, and Hydrant. If you have not heard of Hydrant, they basically make hydration packets for water that can just add some flavor.
Wow, that's really interesting. Double major is super impressive, and I did not know what CPG meant. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's really great to have you here, Allie. We just have a few questions to help us and everyone watching get to know you better. What has been the most rewarding part of working with AdAdapted?
Great question. So I would say it's really been getting to work with a digital team for a real world company. I've already had so many opportunities to apply my writing and social media skills, and I have the chance to learn even more and continue developing those skills, which has been great. Another part of my experience that has been super rewarding has been getting to work with my supervisor, who's also very much a mentor to me. She has a lot of experience in copywriting and digital marketing, and both of those are things that I'm very interested in pursuing for my own career. So it's been a really great opportunity to work with her directly and learn from her.
That's really cool that you're actually in a position where you're actually learning what you want to do in the future. And that's exactly what we try to do when we pair interns with companies. We look for what they're looking for in their projects and also what interns want to learn in the future. And hopefully that's a good match. And we're glad it is. The second question we have for you is that what's something you've learned while working at AdAdapted, and how have you utilized that with your time with them?
For sure. So I've learned a lot about a marketing platform called HubSpot. Before I started my internship, I had heard of the platform before, but I didn't really know much about it, and I certainly didn't know how to use it. And during my internship, I've had the opportunity to learn directly from members of our marketing team about how they use it in their day-to-day operations, as well as how I can use it as an intern. They use HubSpot to publish and create social media posts for accounts such as their Instagram and their LinkedIn. So recently, I actually had the chance to publish my first social media post to their LinkedIn. It was a post just about a volunteer event that several members from our Ann Arbor team took part in. They worked with the Creature Conservancy as well as the Michigan Anti-Cruelty Society, so two animal-focused events. And in the future, I'm excited to continue learning more about how I can use HubSpot to continue creating and publishing posts. I found HubSpot so interesting, in fact, that I actually decided to pursue the HubSpot social media marketing certification, and I recently got certified. So that was great, and I'm excited to continue applying what I've learned so far to my internship and future endeavors.
That sounds really interesting. I just started using HubSpot in my internship this semester, and I'd love to connect with you and learn more about it. That sounds really, really interesting. Thank you for your insight, Allie. One more question for you. What challenges have you faced so far working in your startup, and how did you effectively solve those? And like, what tools did you rely on to do so?
Yeah, so one challenge that I faced was the second week of my internship, my supervisor and mentor was actually out of the office, so she wasn't really available for questions. Um, that was a bit challenging, but what I focused on doing was directing any questions I had to other members of our marketing team, and it was really great to hear from them. Everyone was super helpful and super supportive. Um, and it was great to get to hear different people's perspectives and hear from people with different experiences in the field of digital marketing. Um, and then I also focused on taking initiative and just accomplishing as much as I could on my own. For example, when I was learning about HubSpot, um, I focused on finding some online tutorials and resources to help myself learn more about it so that I would be more prepared for to start making social media posts and using it once my supervisor was back. And then another challenge I experienced was conducting market research for the first time. During my internship, I actually completed a competitor research project. Basically, I was looking at some of our competitors' social media and seeing what they're doing well, what maybe they aren't doing so well, and especially what we can learn from them. This was my very first time doing any sort of competitor research or really any sort of market research. So I was a little nervous, but I focused on just breaking down the project into more manageable steps. So for example, first I started out by just doing a really good overview of all the social media platforms, seeing what they do, what they post about, everything like that. And I took a lot of notes. Like I had, I think maybe 8 pages of notes just from that first overview. But then once I'd had some time to process all that, I went back and started um, dividing up those notes and uh, putting my ideas into more manageable bullet points that I could put on a presentation. I also just kept practicing what I would say for my presentation. I wrote up a little script and made sure that I included information about what these companies were posting, how often they post, and especially trends that I had seen. So in the end, I delivered my presentation to my supervisor upon her return, and we were both happy with the result.
Wow, I'm super impressed, Allie. This has been a great interview. I think we can all take a page out of your book with taking initiative and, you know, as Bud likes to say, fail faster, but you keep trying and keep going after that and you keep practicing. So this is really, really good to hear. Thank you. Now we're going to turn this over to our Q&A portion of the live and look at some of the comments that have been submitted in the chat, if that's okay.
For sure.
The first one we've got is from Bud. What was Allie's strategy for landing her internship? So I'm sorry, what is your strategy? What has been your strategy for landing your internship?
No, that's a great question. So I knew really ever since I first heard about the Digital Summer Clinic that I wanted to be a part of it. It sounded like such a great opportunity. I know that many interns have gone on to pursue extremely rewarding careers in tech, in marketing, in whatever field they decide to go into. Um, and so when I started out by first just learning as much as I could about the Digital Summer Clinic. I currently work as a staff writer and copy chief for the Eastern Echo, EMU's student-run newspaper. And I actually wrote an article about the Digital Summer Clinic for that paper all the way back in, I think it was fall 2024 semester. So that was a great way for me to learn more about the clinic myself and also help other students learn more about it. Um, and then next semester, I decided to take a course with Bud. I took Marketing 239, Google Ads, and Web Page Design. And that course was a great experience. I had the opportunity to network with Bud, which was great. And I also had the chance to learn a lot about Google Ads and even some of the skills that I'm using now in my internship. Um, so that was very helpful as well. And then when I was completing my application, I made sure to um, I made sure that my statement of purpose was very thorough, very complete, that it included all of my relevant experience. And then for my interview, I just focused on being as prepared as possible, thinking of any questions that may be asked beforehand, and preparing complete answers to all of those questions.
Yeah, just hearing about like your approach to everything, like it seems like very aggressive, and that's exactly like why you got this role, because being on the other side of going to a lot of job fairs, going through applications, there was over like almost over 700, and it's hard to stick out when it's such a competitive position, but really like doing your research on the companies. And I can say like I remember you going to a lot of events, so that's really important when trying to get a role. Also, you said like networking with people is like a really big thing too. So I definitely like commend like all of your hard work. It's really paid off.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. The next question we had is actually from Bud again. So he asked, how did Allie navigate the first part of her internship where it seemed like the role wasn't really a good fit for her?
Yes. So when I first got my internship, I actually heard that I was going to be working in the graphic design department for AdAdapted. Um, and I was a little confused by that because while I definitely have experience with social media and I love creating graphics in Canva, I'm definitely not a graphic designer, and I don't really have experience with some of the more advanced graphic design tools, such as Adobe, Photoshop, everything like that. So with that, I reached out to Bud and I said, hey, I'm not sure that this would really be where I could use my skills to the best of my ability. Um, I think that I could contribute a lot more in a digital marketing role or a copywriting role, since those are really where my strengths lie. I have a lot of experience with copywriting, with just writing in general. I do have experience with social media management, although not with exactly the graphic side of it. So he and I talked through that, and he also worked with our contact at the company. So ultimately, we found a role that works a lot better. I'm working as a digital marketing intern under the direction of a copywriter and digital marketer. So I'm very grateful that I was able to move into that role. And I'd say that's how that went.
I'm glad. I'm glad that that takes a lot of courage, and it sounds like you took the right steps, and you went down the right chain of command to get you into the role that fits best. And it sounds like you're really growing and becoming what you hope to be when you move on from the clinic. But speaking of, once this clinic ends, Dr. Q asked, "What are your plans for the summer after the internship is over?" And if the company, if AdAdapted offered you a chance to continue working there, would you accept it?
So I'm going to answer the second part of that question first. That is a resounding yes. I love working with AdAdapted, and it would be amazing to continue working with them and contributing to the digital team. Um, as for my plans for the rest of the summer, I'm currently working with an organization through EMU called O-Team, which is part of the orientation department. Basically, what we do is we train CGLs or Connect group leaders for EMU Connect, which is basically orientation. So for the rest of the summer after the internship, I will be working with my fellow team members to design some training for CGLs, and then I'll be working EMU Connect and welcoming new students to campus, just creating a great experience overall, which I'm very excited for. And then I definitely want to continue learning more about digital marketing, as well as data and analytics. Those are all things I'm really interested in. So I am hoping to continue pursuing some certifications, probably through HubSpot actually, since my social media marketing certification course was such a good experience. And then I'll also be continuing my work with the Echo as copy chief and a staff writer. And I'm very excited for that.
Nice. Thank you so much. And finally, Dr. Q has one more thing to say. He said he has a copy of that the Echo newspaper in his office, and he said it's very great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Q. That means a great deal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allie. Before we wrap up, I also want to say thank you to anybody who joined our digital live today.
Yeah, and thank you to Allie. We really appreciate having you on and kind of picking your brain a little bit. Be sure to stay updated with our upcoming digital lives this summer. Our next live will be on July 21st at 5:30 p.m., so we'll see you then.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.